Okay, I'm fucking live. Let's see if this fucking works this time. I'm fucking sick and tired of this. Apparently I'm live streaming. Yeah, right. Share. Copy link. I'm not interacting with anyone. I guess not. Fucking fruit fly. Little cocksucker. You don't know what the fuck any of this shit is. Participants. Is there anything else there? Use an overlay. Fuck you. Wolfie, come and look. You don't have access to this feature? Let's see if this piece of shit works now. Fucking things. How does it work, Ed? Okay, good. You hear me? Hear you. Yes, good. Is it circling? Okay, you hear me too. Okay. It's circling or you can hear me. No buffer. No buffer. So we're good. You can see me. You can see what I'm doing. You can hear me. All good. So if I pulled my pants off and started jerking off, you would see that too. Sutton's probably laughing about that. Okay, let's see. No, thank you. Same. No, thank you. Okay. If I share my screen, I think that's where my mistake happens. Okay. Let's see if this works. Do you see what I'm sharing? Or is it buffering again now? Okay, you can see my screen. Good. Looks good. Okay, good. Maybe too many fucking screens open. Fuck you, Discord. It's like a fat, hot dick. Okay. You hear me? Yinza. Okay, Mac. Nips, you can hear me? We can hear. Good. Listen. All right. So this might be a little trickier, and hopefully it doesn't fuck up on me. And we'll go through it. I'm not going to share that tab, but let's just go here. Okay. So the thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just review each team, what I think each team needs, and then we're going to go to the top 10 of the draft because after that, it's a hot fucking dumpster fire, and I don't really think we need to listen to everybody trying to draft like Bob Whitney in like the 14th round of the 50th fucking pick. So starting off, I'm just going to review the other stuff that I was talking about before. Fucking fruit flies. I'm gonna fucking electrocute those cocksuckers. I'm gonna stop sharing this and I'm gonna show you the database. Not Nips. Puss is the only one that has seen it so far. But I've opened everything up. Let me see if I could share that. I think people will be a little bit more interested in that than they would be in the fucking draft lottery kind of thing. So the database itself is going to have everything in it. So it'll have all the team awards, the draft history, trade history. It's going to have champion circle, kind of like Puss has in the Pure. The awards, you'll be able to choose a drop down and it'll change all the winners and the team logos and everything else like that. And then I've also gone through pretty much everything I could possibly go through to create every single detail that I can that covers everything that we've ever done in any of the leagues. Shut the fuck up, Sam. So along the bottom, you'll have standings. Formatting is the thing that's required here. But like you could select, I want to see what happened season 1 of the W. So you'll see everything here. The bracket will fill out based on who won their games. And that matchup will basically show it like that. So this still needs some formatting, but it'll be there. And you can even choose playoffs. It'll show you the teams that made the playoffs. And then based on that, you'll see how far they got into it. The other thing you'll have is team leaders. So you can actually go in and select any of the leagues. You're going to have, this is the league average. I believe the blank one here. This is the league average, which will have a banner for that as well. You can see from any season, like we can go all the way up to this past season in the W. So you'll be able to see that. All-time coaches. This will be more in a platform where you can actually more of a dashboard. So you can see how the standings are if you filter. But this is more of the raw data. So you can see your all-time record across the W, the Q, and the vintage, and your all-time record regardless of what league it was in. Your titles would be if you won a championship. I haven't uploaded them all yet. Like I said, you're going to see where I'm at with that point. And basically, it's this tab here. The section in the middle is what I still need to do. But it's going to be able to show everybody that you can get in here. You can see when the season's ended, whether the goal averages per year, playoff season, so on and so forth, all the details for each one. This is the bigger one, is the tab for the coach. So you can see up in the top left, you can have your name. You can select anybody. We're going to go with Nips because I was working on his the most. So basically, it'll change. It'll show all your team logos along the top, depending on how many teams you had, your overall record, your season record, your playoff record, your league titles. So league titles is if you won like the President's Cup, like you won basically the season. You didn't win the playoffs yet, you won the season. And then championships, Nips, I'm going to get to your title. It'll be added in there, don't worry. It was season 11, which I'm working on right now. Your all-time records for each of those teams, whether it was your win percentage, your goals for, goal differential, your OTULs, your OTWs, your home away, your last 10, your streak, your longest winning streak, your longest losing streak, and where you were eliminated in the playoffs. So you can see each season here on the left. You could say like Nips missed season 1's playoffs, but season 2 he made the playoffs, lost first round to Taipei instead. And his record in that division, that one was 1 regulation win, 4 regulation losses, and 2 OTWs. And then it'll have all your streaks and everything like that added in there. So like season 1, his longest losing streak was 10 and his longest win streak was 6. So that will be filled in. You'll actually even have a little tab here where you can actually select your players based on this season here. So playoffs, those were the 7 games that he played during that season. And if you change it to season 4, for an example, he played 9 games or 10 games. 10 games. He had 5 against Klein, 5 against Colin. He had the 10 points games won, 5 wins, 4 losses, 1 OTL. And this here would basically be the team it was. So you can go season and you can go like this. It was the Pitt Intramurals. It'll show his overall season record. And then it'll also have his rankings in that season. So if you change the season to, say, W13, this stuff here still needs to be filled out. All his original draft picks will be here. His record against some of the other coaches, you can select here and it'll show you all the games. And then your team records as well for that specific team. So if you choose W13, it doesn't matter. It'll be based on whatever the team is here. So if it was the Pitt Intramurals or the Blawnox Bananas. Either or, you'll be able to see everything. But then, like, I'm going to have another one, like I said, like I'm going through all the stuff down here, which is more of the raw information and the raw player stats. gets all funneled into this. So this is like the main hub of it all. But like you can see any coach, it doesn't really matter. And then as I'm going through these seasons, actually, I'm finding coaches like the what's it called? Anytime a coach filled in for another coach, I have all of those as well. So we'll know which coach filled in for those seasons. So like the Q, season 2, Gaelic Gopher started the season because he was the High Flyers, but then was replaced by G-Lock midway through season 2. I don't remember what stage those coaches took over, but he took over in season 2. You can see here who he played. None of the stuff over here is populating because you have to go actually to season 2, the Q, and it'll populate. So I think maybe to some degree as well, it should be reflective, but it's easier to switch based on the seasons because you don't know which team or season you want to look at. So like the Highland Wolf, you can see here he's got 1 championship, which was his Q championship in season 13. He was 10-5, 6-1 and 0-1 at home and 6-4 on the road. Gave up it was a 3-goal differential. And then like his player stats for that season would be, those were his stats for that. And then you can also look at his playoff record. There's his playoff record. Here's his playoff stats. So it's a lot of unnecessary stuff, but this is what I think everyone's been asking for. What's like the league record for scoring goals in a game? All that information is going to be in there. I'm just trying to pull it all together. Puss got to see a bit of it. I'm going to probably interact with him a little bit to get a little bit more details of what I can do with it. But trying to add more details is going to be the tricky thing. But I have limited space, but I also don't want to overdo it with too much stuff that doesn't necessarily need to be in here. So given with that, that's the database. That's going to be available probably by the end of the week. Interact. What, like a debit card? Or interact much with me? You want me to interact with you? I can fucking do stuff. Here's a smiley face. Oh my God, here we go. Oh my God, cry, whatever the fuck. I don't know. Close that. I don't need that. So if there's anything you want to see in the database, just let me know. This has nothing to do with any of the seasons that are ongoing. All that data is just going to get dumped into this and then it'll populate so people can see it. Then from there, we're going to go into one other thing because I do know a lot of people have asked about it. Sutton being one of them, and it's not on my list, but I'm going to add it anyways. That's the player database where I think a lot of people have asked, what does it look like? Well, I want to see where, like, the information that's in there. It's not overly all that important, but it's like here you got the top 10 players. Some of them are soon to be added. The Hall of Famers, the player profile. So like you can choose any player. Let's just see. We'll take one of Wolfie's fucking so-called fortress people. And it basically gives him his details, like when was he made his debut, his age as of right now, his height, his weight, his position, when he was drafted, by what team, his full name, his birth date. And then like on the side here, you'll see star power. And then like say he was drafted by Hartford. He made his debut when he was 19. And here's his ratings across all those years. This is where Sutton was explaining, saying, hey, like it should be balanced for defensemen to forwards. But like you can see here that like Pronger had a good like 6-year stint. And then here's the statistics off to the right. So that's kind of like the idea. Then you can see your star power. You can actually like, they're rated out of 6 because that's what our ratings are based out of, is 6. So the higher they are, the more details you can get. So Connor McDavid, let's just like find out Connor McDavid in there because I know he is. Did I put too many N's? Would help if I go Connor McDavid. There we go. Connor McDavid. Takes a few seconds for it to load. But you can see he's a 6-star player. His worst season's a 95 overall, then 99, and then all those other ones. And here's his statistics. He made his debut in 2016, which we have up here when he was 19. So there's not much that you need to see more to be able to get Shishmi again and see what happens. You can't see. Can you see now? Shake your head all you want, Nips. I mean, fucking sick and tired of the streaming shit. Respond. Yes, video's back. I guess when I'm away from it, it basically does that because it takes some time. But so basically here you can see on the screen that like you could change your players. You got star power of the player and based on your year that they started. So you won't be like, oh, when did they start? This guy started at this time. This guy started at that time. There's going to be no confusion to this. You'll have a star power based out of 6 because most of the ratings are out of 6 except stick handling. And then his player stats on that year are off to his right. So goals against average, saves, and stuff like that, that stuff will all be removed because it has to be adjusted based on whether they're a forward or a defenseman or a star power much. Yeah, star power much. So Nips, if you had your what was that guy's name that you had in the queue that you always talked about him all the time? You got to remember his name, not Mike Gartner, the other guy. I can't remember off the top of my head. Let me just go check something here. Maybe I can fucking remember. Coach's profile. Let's go to Nips. I remember his name once I see it. Q, and we're going to go Q3. What is it? Reed Larson? Oh, Danny Gar. Let's try to remember his name. Danny Gar. I know that was one of the guys. Come on, load the cocksucker. There. So there's your Steve Larmer. Danny Gar, though, but like, don't worry about the Detroit part. Well, he did play for Detroit, but you can see here is how he started his career. So Danny Gar, much Skargar, yeah, Skargar. But it can give you some details regarding their seasons so that you can better understand. Say, okay, why was he this? Why was he that? A lot of the ratings they didn't exist for some of the players, especially with NHL 92 being the first one where they actually had statistics and it was based on like what they thought that player was. So this is going to give us a better idea based on how the league actually was pushed. Going back to it, so then there's like ring changes, how they changed, draft history, the standings. Like this is just more for stuff for me to work through. The teams, best all time, scores, player info. So it's just like jerseys, master ratings. It was just a whole bunch of shit that I had to put together that I built this so that you guys could have it. So now for the fun part, let's go into the draft analysis because that's what everybody was here for. Now that the fucking video is working, I can actually do it. And so let's go over here and we're going to go to the draft analysis. Share screen, W14. So the way we're going to do this is that each team, I'm going to go through them one at a time. And before that, I'll talk about what Puss wanted. He wanted to say, what's the future of the Q? So with the Q coming closer to the W, when we started this, the W was at 95. The Q started in 80. The Q is almost in, what are they at right now, the Q? We're in 96, going into 97 after this season. So it's in the W is in 2009. So it's like 12 seasons behind. Take away one for the lockout. So I think a lot of the times, Sam, fuck off. Move. And then with that, the state of the Q, it's becoming the new W. It had its moments. It lost players. It added players. I'm thinking of incorporating a third league that will tie this all together is starting from 1960. Starting in 1960, 61, 62, I'm not 100% sure yet, but there was the first expansion after the original 6. I think there was like 12 teams or 13 teams at that time. And that would be to give us enough rosters. And since the Q was the test pilot, we'll be able to do a little bit more incorporation of new teams in there. But the state of the Q, I want to go back to divisions. I know Caden is running the Q right now to some degree, but I still have to do the modding. I still have to do the sheets. So I think that the Q should be back to divisions. And since we're almost at 16 teams, that we can go 8-8, top 4. There you go. There's your playoffs. The W is continuously expanding, so it goes up, it goes down. We've never been below 28 teams since season 2. So it's been pretty impressive that we've been able to keep this long going for all as many seasons as we had. We're going on to 4 years starting in August. So we'll wait and see how that transpires. I hate when people call me and I don't know what their reasoning is. I'll give them a call back in a bit. But given that, let's go through each team. So each team, I'm going to give them like what I think that they should be drafting and what's available. We'll go through that as well. So Alberta, hot mess. Halak is going to be his goaltender moving forward. It's more or less, is he okay with a shitty goalie for this season? Then his forwards is Pavel Datsyuk, which he just traded for. And I think he dumped Elias to Sunnyvale, who we're going to get into this. But actually, I think I'll do this before I start jumping into all of these things, is to find out who there's a few new coaches coming back in. LHX is apparently coming back. Hines is coming back after his long-awaited death scare that we saw 4 years ago. But his team's coming back as the Kaloran High. LHX hinted, I think he's going to be the Easter Island Stoneheads. Sunnyvale is coming back. The Gaelic Gopher with the Minnesota Gophers is coming back as well. So we have 4 teams coming back. I don't know the status of Mattier or with Maryland Mike, if his team with the South Hills Shindig are coming back. So like I said, you add 4 or lose 2, add 1, lose 3. It keeps variety from there. But Hines' team is made up of the dumpster fire, Brent Johnson and Curtis Sanford in net. On defense, Mark Edward Vlasic and Nathan Pasich. On defense, with 1 open defensive spot. His forwards are going to be Brian Rolston, Dean McAdam, Michael Ryder, and Saku Koivu, with 1 open spot as well for a forward. Those are available for trades or free agency or the draft. LHX's team is a little bit worse, I think, but Mikael Telkvis, Michael Lighton in net, Corey Murphy and Tom Piercing on defense, and on forwards, Matt Stajan, Devin Gucci, Brian Gianta, and Yuri Hudler. So those are the players that he has on his roster for the temporarily. Obviously, LHX is a master. He's going to figure it out, so I'm not really worried about him. But then you move over to Alberta, back to them, like I was saying, is that his forwards are going to run through Datsyuk, Ryan Clote, maybe Holy for 1 more year, since this is one of his original players. He's likely to go forward, in my opinion. It would be silly for him not to, but I do believe that he actually traded his pick away, and I think he did. Where is he in this draft? I think, where is Ellis? I got to find out where Ellis is in this draft, unless he traded it. Yeah, he did trade it. He traded it to Hoth, which Hoth is number 2. Fucking Caden, man, put the right fucking initials so I know what the fuck is going on here. Fucking dingus. So Ellis is there's Caden now picking 3rd. So that kind of defeats the purpose of me talking more about Ellis's roster. But basically, Ellis's roster is going to run through Datsyuk. Autobahn's roster, I do think that he has a need on defense, because I wouldn't run my season with Pierre Bouchard and Tom Potty as being his main focus on defense. Not Bouchard, Tom Potty and Brad Stewart, but he's got Gonchar still. So Gonchar being there is going to be helpful for him, but he does need another defenseman. His goaltending is going to be okay for a couple more seasons. Nabokov has a drop-off before it bumps up. Briere, St. Louis, and Gabrick. And Autobahn picks number 8. So I think he might have himself a chance, an outside chance, maybe out of Max Pacioretty. If he wants to get kind of finagly, he might be able to get Alex Pietrangelo. It's not a guarantee. Then you move down to Baytown. Baytown is picking right now. Did Baytown trade his pick too? Everyone's fucking trading their picks. Where's Baytown? Baytown still has their pick. He's picking 6th. And with Baytown needing a player, he needs a goalie, I think. His forwards are good. His defense are good. His forwards got Taze, Naslin, Parise, Spezza. He's set on forward. Mike Green on defense, if he wants to go with Redden and hope maybe next season he can find something else, I do think that likelihood he's going to want to go goalie. Corey Schneider's on the board, and he's going to have Ben Bishop available. Then after that, you go down to Antti Niemi, and then you got to keep going down Semen and Velanov. He might be there. Well, he will be there. It's just whether he wants to go that low to pick up a player. And then you move over to Ben Salem Blue Moon. He's got his goalie and Carey Price. He's got Bertuzzi. He has nothing on defense. I do think a Drew Doughty pick would be here to be important. And I think that Drew Doughty should be his pick. I don't know if he's picking fourth. So it really, Drew Doughty could be there. Alex Pietrangelo will likely be his pick because I do think that Don has a need on defense as well. Betty Ford Clinic, they're set. They got Crosby. They got Chara and Letang on defense. He's got Brad Boys on forward with Matt Sundin. He needs to find another running mate. But Betty Ford being where they are in the draft, they're picking ninth. A Pacioretty, a Voracek, maybe a TJ Yoshi might be available if he drops. James Neal might be another one for him. Not necessarily, but unless there's some trades that happen in here, I'm not 100% certain. Hamilton Mustangs. Oh my God, DS. I think the most important thing for DS right now is to find another running mate on the forwards. I know Iggy's good. Brad Richards is good. Ladd's okay. Nathan Horton's big. He needs some speed because he's completely lacking it. Defense, he's okay. I'd say Sami Salo and Cronwall are good together. Tuukka Rask is going to be good, but you might need to find a stopgap for the season. But it's not necessarily meaning that he'll get anything for it. But I do think he needs some speed. And Hamilton picking where they are right now, they're not picking at all. So I think he has his opportunity and he has to be able to do it sooner than later. Then we move over to Highland Wolf after his first Bruley Cup berth, losing to Segathon in 4. Lundqvist is going to be there. Kopitar, Richards, and Carter. Prospel can fill in where he needs. Modine as well. He needs another pillar. And the thing is with Highland Wolf, where he's located is at 14, it's going to be kind of hard for him to jump up unless he makes a trade. To get Pietrangelo, he's not going to ever get Drew Doughty. Next level option, picking at 14, Christian Ehrhoff, maybe. There's not a lot of options. You might have to go the trade route to be able to pick up that player. Hothwampas, trade up to third. Obviously, he's got something in mind. His defense is struggling. Drew Doughty. It's going to be Drew Doughty unless he's aiming at goalie, which would be Corey Schneider. I know manual goalie teams do not value goaltenders as much as they do, but I do think that Hoth is going to take Doughty. You don't trade up that quickly unless you actually hope that he's going with Drew Doughty, but he might go Blake Wheeler. That's another potential forward, but it all depends on Don, who's next. And his team, he needs a goalie and he needs a defenseman. He's got Patrick Kane. He's got Zubris. He's got Doug Wade. He's got Lettinen. He's got Steve Sullivan. He's got some forwards to tide him over for a season or two to figure out what he wants to do. But I would honestly say that probably the best thing is he would need to some degree. I think he's going to go Drew Doughty. I think that's his route. If he wants to go goalie, he's going to have to make a nice trade to get back into the first. But right now, his picks that he has, where is Don's picks? I don't even think I have him on this list. Oh, he's got his first and the second. So he hasn't traded away any other picks. So he'll be at the top of the second. Goalie-wise, he might be looking at Varlamov, who might be his best option, I'd say. But Drew Doughty seems to be Inglewood's spot. K Vegas. This is where everyone's going to start going up and clamoring, wondering what the fuck's going to happen with Matty A. So with Matty A on a leave for this season, he's paused, but doesn't necessarily mean he's coming back. If he does come back, great. He's got a great roster to run with. I don't think he'd add anything. His pick, I believe, is still on the table, on the board. No, it was traded to Matty to Puss, who's obviously we already all know what he's going to take. which is a given. But I would say if Mattier does leave and doesn't come back, I think next season is going to be quite an interesting offseason because you add Roberto Luongo, you add Alex Ovechkin, Evgeny Malkin, and Brett Burns. I think people will be clamoring for those 4 players. And I think there's going to be a lot of trading and a lot of people trying to get up in the fucking top half of that draft. And I think next year's draft is quite strong as well. I don't think, I'm trying to remember who comes in the 2010 class. But, oh yeah, it's Erik Karlsson. I think somebody posted it in the group. But I do think it's going to be a strong class as well. I think John Tavares is in it. So you had like 10 superstars in the top of the draft. If you, we all know Richfield's going to try to tank, and so is Autobahn, maybe. I don't know. But Mattier's team looks like it's in a good position if he returns. If he doesn't, the whole league is going to be salivating. Move over to the next dumpster fire is Maryhill alum. If there's one team in the league that can do it with nothing, it's Red. Red's got very little talent, but still made the playoffs. But he needs to be able to add something. He needs some kind of firepower to keep this going. I don't know if he has it all, but if he does, great. If he doesn't, I don't know what he's going to do because this might be the end of Red's roster, or he might be the type of coach where he's just like, I'll just fill it out with fucking bums. Because right now he's picking 15. 15 for him, you're looking at a Robert Lang, James Neal, potentially Yuri Hudler, but Yuri Hudler should not be on this list. Same thing. Well, Josh Arnott might be an option. Yuri Hudler was actually added on one of the rosters. Maybe a Ben Bishop if nobody wants to go with a goalie. Saku Koivu should be off this list as well. A Guillaume Latendresse, maybe an Andrew Ference. Anything really would be better than what he's got. Sam's being quiet. Yes, she is behind me. If she barks, you're going to hear her. She's actually at the door, Nick, so don't worry. Then we move over to the next team. We got the Minnehatrick Swayzes. 13 seasons of the W. I think how many seasons did Nick play in the Q? Let's find out. How many seasons has he played in the Q? He started in season 4, and we're in 13 seasons. So after 26 seasons, it's my time. It's about time. Basically, after his miraculous run of being the 11th seed, winning the Brewery Cup for his first time at the pinnacle of his league, and his roster, is it going to change much? I don't know. Right now, looking at his roster, his defense is horrible. But playoff hero Peter Harold, with his down Bs and whatever else he does, he's got some kind of Segathon type of touch to it. But he's got Craig Anderson for a couple more seasons. Phil Kessel is going to be really, really good for him. He's going to actually have a player. He's untouchable. Nobody wants a 54 overall. Like, even if you were to do it in NHL 95, he would be like a half star. He's just like fucking Chris Rock in The Longest Yard with Adam Sandler. He's a half star. He has to build up a rap somehow. And he maybe have done it. Maybe we should bring back boosts where you could trade your draft picks so you can get a boost. Then Mark Giordano is going to be one of his better defensemen. Brent Hedican, I think his time is done. I think he was an original pick for Nick. Andy McDowell is probably going to be your right winger with Ryan Malone as center and Kessel as the other wing. Dvorak is going to likely be a player that I think he comes in whenever you need him on a power play or a shorthanded. I don't know. Every season, Brett Hedican, Yamaguchi. Then we got back to the Minnesota Golden Gophers, who's returning after a season of pause. His roster seems to be in great shape, picking at the end of the first. He'll likely want to add a defenseman because I don't think Jordan Leopold or Scott Walker is going to be an ideal pick for him moving forward. Kerry Lettinen is going to be good. He can move with Mike Smith if he needs, depending on how his goalie situation rolls out. Then he's got Ryan Getzlaf, Patrick Marleau, Matt Cullen. I think Matt Cullen might actually be a Minnesota Gopher alumni. I'm not 100% sure, and I think that's maybe his other one to who was his player in season 1 and 2 that he used all the time in like praised his, let me see here, season 1 Gophers. It was Corey Millen. So, yeah, calling the same cloud. Corey Millen was a Gopher. He wants to be a hat trick, maybe. But he's in a good position to have his roster, and even though that he's not picking at the top, he's going to at least have an opportunity to create some noise with the roster that he has, but he needs another defenseman. Picking at the end of the first, there's not much available for him. The North Bay Knights, a shell of the team that they used to be. Jagger gone. I don't know who else on this team. Broder gone. I don't remember who he had on defense, but they're gone. Vladimir Malikov gone. I think North Bay's at the point right now where he's going to either blow it up or hope for the best. But he's got Claude Giroux to start off with. He's got Ryan Kessler to work with. The big thing is going to be his goaltending. Is Toskala or Manson picking? Where is he picking in the first? He's picking. Where the fuck is Pat? Picking 21st. He's not going to be in a position to add a huge talent, but Antiniemi might be his option. He doesn't really have much else. Yeah, he traded Jagger. I can't believe it either, but whatever. He traded in the Taipei of all teams. Not that I had trouble with Taipei as enough as it is. But I see Unholy maybe picking a goalie, 16, 21. If there's a stretch, he might have an opportunity to pick him up. Then we move to the Orange County West Stars with MN Yoda, who's probably the roster the best in shape. He's got Marc-Andre Fleury for the foreseeable future. He's got Alexander Semin for a good 7 or 8 years, Patrice Bergeron, David Krejci, Danny the Heater Heatley. I think his biggest issue, I would say, is another running mate for Shea Weber, but Kimmo Timonen is just as good too. So with Orange County having where they're picking, where are they picking right now? They're picking 5th. I would personally say if he's looking for something, if he's looking for another running mate, trade Tiemann or Brewer, go pick up Alex Pietrangelo. If you're not interested in that, you can easily get yourself a Blake Wheeler if he doesn't drop, or if he drops, or a TJ Yoshi. I'm not 100% sure, but maybe a Max Pacioretty. He might be another player in that kind of mold for Yoda. Then you got the Pitt Intramurals, and I know that Nips has been wanting to talk about his team, not like Wolf, but let's talk about his team. Goaltending, he's okay. He doesn't have any issues there. Isabel Broscala and Rolison, he's in good shape there for the next 3 or 4 years. Might need to trade for one down the road. Forwards, Marian Hossa, Samsonov, Korea, and Brassard. Luckily for Brassard, this is not real life where he gets injured all the time, but he's going to be a decent player as a gap filler. But his roster is now at the stage where he's going to need to add something. Picking at the end of the first round every year now is not going to be helpful for him. But given with Mattier's situation, his roster going potentially into the draft next year might give him an opportunity to jump up in the draft. Let's see what picks he's got available. He doesn't have a first. He has a second this year. No first the year after, who's with Betty Ford. And so he's looking at likely 2011 as being his opportunity to pick anything up. So I do think to some degree right now for Nips, his roster needs somewhat of an overhaul, but if he's destined with speed, I think Kozlov, Samsonov, and Korea are going to provide him that. Caberlet's still really good for him for another 5 years. And maybe add a defenseman. Later in the draft, maybe add one, maybe a free agent, or maybe he trades one of his goalies. If he wants to trade Dwayne Rollison to a goal team that's needy of a goalie, he might be able to pick up an early second-round pick to maybe fill in his roster a little bit more too. Then we move over to Providence. It's finally happening. It's finally happening. The fucking Providence Seabass will likely be seeing the end of Mike Modano soon, because I think this are these years where he goes to Detroit. But he's got Tim Thomas in net. He bitched and moaned when we gave him the BPA of Thomas Plekanec, and Plekanec's become one of his better players, if not his best player outside of Modano. Jordan Stahl is going to be good for him for a few more years, for the foreseeable future, but at least a fill-in player if he doesn't get any of that top-end talent. Milan Hajduk is also going to be there for him to help. Brendan Shanahan, I really don't know why he's on his roster. I think it was just a roster fill. But Ruslan Saleh and Dan Boyle will be his defense of the season. I don't see Matt Nissikin stepping in until at least 2015-16 for those 2 years. So he's going to likely want to draft a defenseman. And with Dan getting eliminated from the playoffs, he's picking 13. If he's looking for a forward, James Neal might be a nice spot for him. Maybe an Andrew Ference if he doesn't get those top-end forwards. Maybe pick up an Andrew Ference for defense. Who else could be something of decent for him? Maybe a Nick Foligno if he just wants a roster filler. And you might have to go down to an Anton Stallman if you're okay with him sitting on the bench for 6 years before he gets pretty good. Or Zach Bogosian. It's really up to him what he wants to add to that roster. Too many Twix. Medano has 3 more years. Yeah, 3 more years. 5 more kids. But then I think Dan's opportunity to make a roster change is now. Maybe do the unthinkable trade Medano. But that's not for me or him. And then we come to the most poor team in the league. Richfield Oracles. Nostradamus predicted a lot of things for this team, and none of them have come true. Other than his few outside opportunities that he has had, with his team, he hasn't really done much damage recently. Let's find out what he's done in his seasons. He got eliminated in the first round on a 4-game sweep. Missed his playoffs the year before. His deepest run was actually season 1, where he got to King Raff and lost 3 in a row. But he's never really pushed a series other than season 5 and season 4, where season 4 he was taken out by Sagathon, and season 5 he was taken out by Helsing. So I have to see the other seasons. I think there was another one in between season 10 and season 7, where I think he did clinch another playoff spot somewhere in between there. But his roster, though, it's something to be left desired. He's got some great forwards. Joe Thornton, Rick Nash, and Kovalchuk. It's going to be set there. Ryan Suter on defense. He's going to be good there. His question mark, I believe, is going to lie in Nikolai Habibulin. And where he's picking right now, too, he's picking at 11. He might have a Ben Bishop in his eyes. Ben Bishop, maybe a Wade Simmons. I would personally think that maybe a Ben Bishop might be a good option for him to basically fill out his roster and maybe give himself a forward goaltender a bit more, since Blair does not like playing goaltender. So we'll see how that transpires. But I think that's where he would pick, is in the 11th, maybe pick up himself a Ben Bishop. If he has an opportunity to pick up somebody else, go right for it. But I don't see it happening. Saguenay, the bubble team of the league. So G-Lock's always been on the bubble. I think this is the year he does it. He gets through because he needs a goalie. Curtis Joseph is done after this year, which Josh Harding, he's told many of times to me that this is his goalie for this year, and that's the only reason why he drafted him. Louis Erickson's going to be there with Timu and Dave Backus. I tried trading the farm to get Timu back again. He was not interested. And he's been saying, I need speed. Ray Whitney has got a bit of it. Louis Erickson's got most of it. And on defense, he's got Buff and Duncan Keith. I don't think he has any issues on defense. It's that he's going to have to deal with a couple bad seasons of defense other than Duncan Keith. I don't think G-Lock's got a first. I think he traded his first away to – who's got his first? He's got Type A's first. G-Lock is with Hoth, which is 10th. So Hoth has fucking basically become the new Sean Bell, fucking pillaging teams to take all these picks. Who needs to go to bed? G-Lock needs to go to bed, but also Nipple Tiger is basically always out there, which I appreciate G-Lock being involved as much as he is. As much as he hates the game, maybe take a pause, G. Let next season run where it goes, play the season out, and then hope that there's a goalie that picks up well. Maybe you can get Luongo. Did you trade your first next year too? I don't know. Did you trade your first? Yeah, you traded your first next year to Hoth as well. I think that was to get Solani. And you have your next first is in 2011. So good luck, G-Lock. Nipples and all. Sonoma Barrels with Nui. He's looking to trade Vinny, but his roster's at a point where he has to make a decision because Vinny is there. Ryan Callahan's good. Ryan Smith is good. Defense, he needs something, and he's picking 19. It's going to be hard for him. Maybe a Mike Camilleri if he needs it for a season. Maybe an Andrew Ferentz to fill in on defense. And Sergei Varlamov might be an opportunity for him. Not 100% sure. But Newey's made the playoffs quite a few years in a row now. Where is Newey on this list? Newey, where are you? I think you're further down. Here we go. Newey 24. The last couple of seasons, lost to Sumter this year in the first round. Lost to, who did he lose to here? I haven't worked my way back that one, but Newey's first season was in season 4 where he missed the playoffs, lost to Autobahn in season 6. Season 5, I need to figure out what the heck's going on here. I don't think I filled it in, but I don't think he made the playoffs in season 5. So he needs to make a push to add some talent onto his roster. I don't know if he has the trade capital, which he's got his first. He can maybe trade his first for a team that's needy. No future first. Maybe he'll sit on this first and maybe bank for next year to hope that he can maybe pick up a good player. But this year he needs to focus on adding a few youthful players. But Vinny's still going to be there for him as being his stalwart. Then we get to the South Hill Shindigs, which I think this might be the last. Like South Hill is going to be on pause. An unfortunate situation occurred, but he's still participating in the draft, which I think he gets pushed at the end of the first. I think he needs to add a defenseman regardless of what happens. So we're going to keep it limited to that. But if he sits out the following year, then his roster goes into the draft as well. So Mikko Kiprusoff, Eric Stahl, Tanguay will be gone. Brian Little maybe. So there might be a couple more players added to the draft. We move over to Chalky with Sugar Valley. He's got the roster for length. He needs some stars to help support Forsberg. Dustin Brown's good. Lauenberger's good. Perron's good. Koivu's good. They're just good. They're not great. They're not a Forsberg caliber. Jiggy's in his last 2 years. They need something, and where he's picking right now, Sugar Valley's picking 12. To add a superstar, I think a Pacioretty or Voracek is likely in his scope. It really depends on what Hawk does. But I think that it's likely going to be that maybe a James Neal might be better, or an Antiniemi to be able to have a goalie after Jiggy's time is done. We move to this trash with Pink. There's no discussion of who's his 2-star forwards are. Defensively, he needs a revamp, and Martin Biron is okay. Pink goes deep into the playoffs. He's picking right now at 18. It's going to be hard for him to add like a caliber player, but I do see him adding potentially maybe a Patrick Hornquist to add something for some depth. Maybe a Varlamov, Samay Vanalov, blah, 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 blah. Maybe a Ben Bishop or an Antiniemi if these players slip. Some people want to wait for these players to slip, but I know you hate 95G, but you keep playing because people keep fucking gaslighting you to come back. But no sleep tonight. You stay up and stroke your prick. But Sumter, they need some defensemen. Yeah, you got some guys who just fill spots, but I think Sumter needs a goalie. Biron has one good year, but he might be a stopgap. I think he just needs to add a defenseman to fill out his roster, get rid of Yanni Pittman. And we have the return of the Sunnyvale Shithawks. I believe Sunnyvale had just made a trade. I believe that it's where's that trade for Sunnyvale? Confirmed trades. Sunnyvale recently traded. Martin Havlet is with them for his 2nd-round pick in this year's draft. So Havlet needs to get moved here. And we get rid of Havlet there. So given that, Klein's roster is good. He's got Jovi and Hammerlick. He's got maybe not Penner, Havlet, Vanek, and Ellis. And he's got Cam Ward in net. Shut up, Sam. It's enough. You're going to have your time later. Yeah, Jets are on tonight. It's true. I'm going to have to start cheering for them after Montreal got eliminated. But Sunnyvale, they're in a good spot. They're picking at the end of the first. He'll fill in some roster spots. Hope for next year. But being off for a season, some guys have seen it where you've been off for a year and you come back, you don't bounce it back very well. But let's find out, see what Klein does. Taipei Typhoons, Peke Rene is going to be his goalie for the next 10, 15 seasons. He's got Zajac and Yager now. Add Fedorov with some speed. His issue is going to be on defense because I don't think Wisniewski, Danino, and Wisniewski are going to be ideal partners for him to be able to do anything. And he traded his pick to G-Lock. So G-Lock got back into the first. So G-Lock might be looking for that player that he needs, but we'll wait and see. Zajac is a stud this year. He is a stud, 84 overall. He might be good, but Zajac had only a few good seasons and then was just like a role player. But this is Fedorov's last year as well. And then we move into I always have trouble. Tigalopoulos, Ticklepuss. We already know what's happening here. His roster is in flux. He hasn't made a deep push in a few seasons. Let's see what Ticklepuss has done recently in the last couple of seasons. Where is he on my list here? Ticklepuss. Lost to Highland in round 2. I haven't filled out season. He made the playoffs last season. He's made the playoffs every year, but it's where does he end? And even as beginning of his career, it was first round exit, finals to Sean Bell, first round exit, first round exit, first round exit, first round exit, second round exit, first round exit, second round exit. It's consistently early exits or deep pushes. But he does have a championship, and I think that championship came in the queue. But with his roster, Steven Stamkos, there's not even discussion about this. We already know what's happening. Stamkos is going to match up with Kovalev, likely Justin Williams, maybe Pavel Demitra for the season, maybe Joffrey Lupul, who knows. But I do know it's going to be Brian Rovalski and Dion Phaneuf on the back end. Unless he wants to add a defenseman to the draft, and I don't know where Puss is picking here. No, Puss traded his pick to Mattier, which is pick 23 right now. But it's going to be Steven Stamkos has got a fucking generational player. Then you move into Thunder Bay, who constantly makes trades, always has his roster on the up and up. But right now, when you look at Bell's roster, since the Tom Barrasso's days and Brian Boucher is coming to the end of his career now too, Janos Hiller is going to likely take over and be a starting goaltender. It's 2011 is where he has the suffers, where he has a 47 and a 55 overall. Trade one of them to maybe fill in that roster spot, likely his idea. But then he's got Olli Jokinen, Mark Savard, Corey Perry, Bobby Ryan up front. Likely it's going to be Bobby Ryan, Corey Perry, and Olli Jokinen. Mark Savard is going to probably take a back seat. Defensively, it's going to be Mark Straight with Bouwmeester. Goligoski is probably... Yeah, maybe Goligoski. Maybe he wants to get rid of Bouwmeester. Who knows? But it'll be probably Goligoski and Straight moving forward. And with Thunder Bay, where their picks are right now, I think Thunder Bay is not even picking in the first. No, he traded away. He's got a second round pick only. Traded his first to. Where did Thunder Bay's pick go to? Who did he trade it to? Oh, it was traded to me, which was pick 24. So we'll have to wait. And since Bell now, that was his earliest exit in the Bruley Cup as well. Bell's always made deep pushes. So for him to be eliminated in the second round was not good. He made it to the finals. He's been the champ 10 times in the W, a number of other times in the Q, league championships and everything like that. But recently, I think it's been league slowly catching up to him. And is it where now we see Sean as a top-tier player still with the pedigree of a championship team, and we only see him as being maybe the third or fourth best player in the league moving forward? But that's yet to be seen. We're going to find out. Peter Harold, I think, Nick, as long as you got somebody who can down B, then you're fine. I'm curious because down B might be a pass option, and if his passing's good, that might be the reason why his snapperoo is pretty good. But then we move into the next player, which would be myself, where returning back to the playoffs after, I believe, 5 or 6 seasons and not making it. Expectations are for me to be in the playoffs again, but now with a bigger league, we have 4 extra teams. We're up to 31 if everybody sticks. If not, we're down. I think we're at 28 or 29 teams. But Bruder will lead the way again for me. My forwards, I don't have much speed, but Mike Ribeiro might bring it on the wing. Shane Doan in the middle, and then you add Zetterberg on the other wing, potentially with Lucci or Holmstrom filling in. Defensively, Nicholas Lindstrom and Scott Niedermayer got them for a couple more years. With my other picks, I might be able to pick myself up, maybe. And Andrew Ferentz to kind of fill a bit of a gap, maybe package some of those draft picks together and maybe move up. I don't think I can get into a spot where I can pick up a Pietrangelo, which I don't see that ever happening. But who knows? Wishful thinking, I guess. Yeah, he's third or fourth best in the last couple of seasons where you think about it. Now, if you take the top 5 players in the league, would you put Sean number 1, given that after his long run of championships, Nips beat him? Nips is a perennial top 3 player in the league, no matter however you cut it. No matter how many people want to complain or say anything else. If you go top 6, in my honest opinion, in the league right now, Sean's probably still a number 1 player. Then it goes Nips. Then it goes Segathon, Taipei, Wolf, and Puss. You can probably interchange 3 and 4, 3, 4, and 5, and 6 all together. But like Nips and Bell are probably the top 2. But Bell could be moved down. Like after losing in the second round, I'd say he's probably right now, I'd say he's 2 or 3. Potentially can move down further. I think I'm higher than 20th in fucking Wolves fucking ratings. Yeah, he's high. I think he just takes his top 16, copies and pastes, and then changes the fucking people around 1 or 2 spots. He doesn't look at fucking production, nor does he ever want to. He just talks about his fortress, but neither here or there. Then you got the Woodland Rats, who are a surprising team. I'd say in the Bell and Bell that they're the surprise team this season coming up. Watch out for them. They'll be a bubble team. I see it between him, G-Lock, and maybe Autobahn and Richfield, maybe Betty Ford. There's going to be like 5 or 6 teams in that bucket. I might even be in that bucket, but who knows? But his roster's stacked right now. Simon Gagne, Nicholas Backstrom. He's got Bakun for a couple more years. I'd say he's got need of a defenseman. And right now he's sitting in at number 7. Sitting in at 7, he's maybe got an outside chance for Pietrangelo. If not, he goes another forward. There'll be a Voracek, a TJ Yoshi, maybe a Blake Wheeler if he drops, if somebody's not really interested in waiting 5 or 6 years for him to take off. A James Neal. We really don't know, but I see some good opportunities there for him to pick up. But given on that, the draft's going to take place on Friday. We're starting at 9 in the morning. Whoever has their picks, send them to me early. Or you have your list of the players here, send your wish list in order, and I can pick them. I'm going to do them live. I got the board up here already, kind of ready. I got all the magnets ready to go. And all we have to do is basically start the draft. I'll do the live draft because I'll be at home on that day. And we can just basically get everything done. Yes, Nick, they do have their rosters filled. I'll recap their roster names so that you know who's on their rosters. Heinz's rosters: Brent Johnson, Curtis Sanford and net, Mark Edward Vlasic and Nathan Pesic on defense, Brian Rolston, Dean McAmmon, Michael Ryder and Saku Koivu on forwards. LHX is Mikael Telquist and Michael Lettinen on goalie. Defense is Corey Murphy and Tom Piercing. Forwards: Matt Stajan, Devin Savaguchi, Brian Giant and Yuri Hudler. So those are the 2 rosters. They'll be able to trade. LHX and Heinz are at the end of the first, which that's what we do is you go in the end of the first. Gaelic Gopher and Sunnyvale are before them because they sat out the years, so they're not penalized to go behind them. So that's how it is. You're an expansion team. You come back in, you have to start with nothing. So as long as you have a roster, you can always make some kind of noise, I guess. So basically, I'd say the big thing is now with the draft that we're going to do 10-minute slots. I'm going to announce the picks. Live, it's not going to be like this live. It's going to basically be, I'll do a video, post it on the Discord and go from there. I'll show the board so everybody sees it while I'm doing it. And on my phone, I got the director's view. So you can see my face. I can be like, oh my God, nothing happened. Or a trade. If you have a trade, text, message me or DM me the trade details. So if I have the trade details, then I can announce the trade details if there's a trade before that pick's made. And I'll have a counter in the chat, hopefully, to keep it going so people know when their pick is up. If your pick does come up and you don't pick, it's BPA, best player available. for your roster. So if you have a roster spot and I believe that it's not a good player, it gets cut. I will only be doing the first round. The second round, if somebody wants to jump in, likely Caden will probably jump in and help, or anybody else who wants to. Since it's a Friday, a lot of people are likely going to want to fucking do nothing. DS insurance, it's okay. So given that, that's the draft preview. If there's anything else you want to see, we can go over that. But other than that, guys, that's the draft preview. Stay tuned for the draft on Friday.